Hi guys, Rory Goddard here. Thanks for tuning in. This video is so much more than just a review of the Dream Life Mastery program. What I'm actually going to be doing is providing you with a lot of value, a lot of principles that you can take away from this video and start implementing into your life straight away. But then what I'm going to do is run you through the Dream Life Mastery program and show you how this program is going to help you implement these principles into your life a lot easier and a lot faster, so you can fast track your success. So the reason you've come here is likely because there's some area of your life that you're unhappy with, or maybe it's just your life in general. You're not really, you don't feel that level of excitement and joy about waking up every day, and that's something that you really want to achieve in your life. Or potentially there's specific barriers and challenges that you're currently facing and you just don't know how to get over them. So what I want to do is run you through the 7-step system to creating a more fulfilling, a more happy and a healthy life. So I've actually been in the health and fitness industry for over 10 years. So, obviously I have a passion for health, and it's something that I've always wanted to help other people achieve. So I've really, done a lot of research into health, and what I started to realize is that our physical health overlaps with every other part of our life. And then there was one day when I was researching the etymology of the word health, the history of the word health, and it really confirmed what I was starting to discover. So if you look at the history of the word health, it actually came from Germanic origin, from a word that meant a state of wholeness, and that's really what health is about. It's about wholeness within all areas of your life, not just determined by physical health, diet and exercise and sleep and that type of thing. There are all these other areas of our life that interact with our physiology to create our overall wellness and wholeness. So this word from Germanic origin later became hell. So in Old English, this word was translated into hell. And then a little later, this word hell was separated into 3 separate words. So whole, health, and holy. So what this says is that there once was a time when the ideas, the concepts of these 3 words were described with one single word, meaning that, to be healthy physically, you were whole, and to be whole, you were holy. So let's look at each of these 3 words separately and see how they fit together. So in relation to whole, the total quality of our life is really the result of the interactions and the interrelationships between all of its 7 areas. When people, so these are the 7 areas of our life. There's probably other ways to categorize these areas, but this is how I like to do it. So we have spiritual health in the middle, physical health, financial health, familial health, social health, mental health, and our vocational health. So all of these areas of life are interacting and have a relationship with each other. You can't make a change in one area without that impacting some other area. So when people go out and they have, you might have a specific goal in mind. Maybe you want to improve your health, your physical health, or lose weight. Most of the time people will go out and they'll focus on that one area, not realizing that making changes in that area is creating incongruencies in other areas of their life. That if you're going out to set a goal in any of these one areas, you need to make sure that it's congruent with all of the other areas. Otherwise there's always going to be barriers and things that you just can't overcome. So an example of this might be, obviously when you're going out to lose weight or improve your health, potentially you're going to need to invest money into that, and so that's obviously having an impact on your financial health and the way that you're utilizing your money. Potentially you're going to have to make sacrifices to buying things that you don't necessarily need but you just want them, and utilizing that money to buy healthier food or invest in a gym membership or something like this. This is just one example, but this is just and it does demonstrate how different areas of our life are connected. So in relation to our physical health, so that's what we sort of, when we say health, this is typically what we think of as our physical health. And really, like, where is your life without your body? You need your body to be able to live in this physical world. So having good physical health is really a necessity to fulfill any other area of our life and to actually have a life. So it's really important to take care of our bodies as best we can. So if we take a look at the word holy, it was actually used to interpret the Hebrew word kadosh in the Bible, which means to be set apart for a specific purpose. Holy is often interchangeable with the word sacred in the English language, and sacred means to be consecrated, which is to be set apart, devoted, or dedicated to some purpose or service. So essentially what I take this to mean is, to have purpose and meaning in your life. Obviously holy has some religious connotations to it, but I myself am not religious, but I do believe in the values of being a good person. So as you can see also on this slide, I've got the word holy to be meaning to be set apart or separate from evil, which I essentially take as just to be a good person. Being sacred is to have meaning and purpose in your life and to be of service to people. So I think this is another thing that is really important to the overall, our overall wellness and level of health. Alright, so before I go any further, I want to just introduce you to Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs, which is basically a concept that he created based on human motivation, what drives and motivates us. And basically what he says is that the goal of life is to become self-actualized, so self-actualization, which according to Maslow represents the growth of an individual towards the fulfillment of the highest needs, and those being what's listed in this diagram, which essentially covers all of the 7 areas that I spoke about previously. Physical at the bottom there, that's obviously our physical health. Our primary initial motivation is to maintain our physical health through seeking food, water, sleep, making sure that homeostasis exists within our physiology so that we're not getting diseases and illnesses and things like that, to then having safety with our finances and employment and resources, having a roof over our head and support from our family, things like this, to then having loving and belonging relationships with friends, and feeling like we belong to community and society and things like this. So as you can see, this is covering all of the different areas that I spoke about earlier. So he's saying that the goal is to master and fulfill all of these areas of your life to become self-actualized. And this is what's driving all human beings. And when we're not congruent with that, when we're not focusing on mastering our life, then this is when things don't go well for us. So if you have a look at this quote from Maslow on the right here, the future also now exists in the person in the forms of ideals, hopes, duties, tasks, plans, goals, unrealized potentials, mission, fate, destiny, etc. One for whom no future exists is reduced to the concrete, the hopelessness, the emptiness. For him, time must be endlessly filled. Striving, the usual organizer of most activity, when lost, leaves the person unorganized and unintegrated. So what I take that to mean is that the person without purpose, without goals, without a mission, that isn't striving for something, isn't going to be motivated and focused on mastering all of these areas of their life and fulfilling these areas of their life to become self-actualized. So this is where spiritual health, to me, what I view spiritual health to be, is not only to be a good person and have meaning and purpose and to be of service to people, but it's really about creating a vision for yourself, what is most important to you in your life, and then building your life around that, rather than just going through life without having any goals or mission. I really think this is a vital step to making sure that you are focused on mastering all of these 7 areas of your life, and really being driven to do what you can to become fulfilled in all of these different areas of your life together. Alright, so the 7-step system to a fulfilling and healthy life is really all about going through the 7 areas of life with the goal of fulfilling each of these areas and becoming self-actualized. So and making sure that there's congruency within all areas of your life, and the way that you initially create that congruency is, I think, starting with your spiritual health, which is creating a vision, identifying what is most important to you, your life, and creating meaning and purpose around that. So as John DeMartini says, anyone or anything that doesn't fulfill its purpose automatically decays. And a lot of people haven't even identified their purpose. They haven't even sat down and identified what is most important to them, and then designed their life around that. They're often letting the outside world dictate the way that they're living their life, rather than choosing from within what is most important to them and then going out and living that life. Now, a lot of the times this comes to our social health. So the next thing that I would look at is our social health and having authentic interaction. So as DeMartini says again, if you don't allow others to reject you, you will reject yourself. And so what that's saying, a lot of the times we don't change our behavior. We're often influenced by our thoughts about what other people might think of us. So oftentimes when we're changing our behavior, there's going to be people around us that for whatever reason might judge us because we're making a change, and that often becomes a barrier to us making a change in our life. An example that I have for myself is that when I first realized that I wanted to focus on improving my health, at the time I think I was around 22, 23 years old, and all my friends at the time were out drinking all the time, and if I were to say that I didn't want to go out, they thought there was something wrong with me. So for a long period there, I was going out drinking, spending my whole weekend partying and doing all of this, because of the peer pressure style of, there was this peer pressure force making me do it, so to speak. And then, come Monday, I wake up and feel terrible that I wasn't congruent with what I actually wanted to do. And this is, this happens to a lot of people. So making sure that you're able to stay true to what is most important to you and interact authentically with your environment. And this is what I feel creates true social health. And then that comes down to also not judging other people based on the way that they're living their life and choose to live their life, even if you feel like it's wrong. Oftentimes they're just trying to live to their values. Elevate function. So this is all about your physical health. So not just adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. So a lot of people don't realize that, when you get older, if your health is not in the best of shape, your life, while you might be living for 20, 30 years post-retirement age, potentially it's not going to be a very, very enjoyable time these days. While we're living longer, a lot of the times we're not living very well. And as we spoke about earlier, having that good health, good physical health, is really a fundamental necessity to be able to fulfill other areas of our life. We need our physical body to be able to live. Next is activating the genius. So this is really about mental health. So when I say mental health, you might be thinking things like our mood and things like that. But when I say mental health, I'm talking more about gaining knowledge and understanding, and continually growing on an intellectual level. One of my favorite quotes is by Albert Einstein, where he says, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid." And I really believe this. So essentially what it's saying is that everyone has the potential to be a genius. It's if a lot of the times our intellectual abilities are judged based on what society or our culture thinks we should know, or thinks that we should learn. But if you focus on things that you're actually passionate about and that you're actually inspired about and what you're meant to learn, then you become a genius. You retain information better when you're focused on things that you actually are interested in and passionate about, compared to when you're forced to try and learn something that just means nothing to you. And so a lot of the times when you identify areas of your life that are most important to you and you connect with it, that's when you start to really want to go out and understand more about it, and really focus on things to be able to elevate your mental stimulation and your intelligence. So there's another quote by Wayne Dwyer that sort of wraps things up nicely here. So you have all the intelligence you need for anything that ignites your creative and problem-solving passion. Believe this about yourself and you'll never want or need to trot out an excuse of "I'm not smart enough." So it's basically saying what I just said there. Alright, next thing is value their values. So this is in relation to familial health. So everyone wants to love and to be loved, and everyone wants to appreciate and to be appreciated, and everyone wants to live his or her dream. So this is sort of coming back into what I spoke about when I talked about social health, is identifying that everyone has their own unique values, and they're often a lot of the decisions and the behaviors that they have are based on these values. So I often think about this in my relationship with my wife. Is her values are much more around the family, the kids, housework, these types of things, whereas mine is more on health, financial stability, things like this. So she might judge me as being lazy or unhelpful with things like doing the housework, whereas I'll see her as wasteful with money, or not driven financially or career-wise, if you know what I mean. So based on our values, we could come up with judgments of each other that are really just, we could say the same things about each other based in different areas of our life. We can make the same judgment that I could make the judgment that she's lazy in relation to her career, whereas she could make the judgment that I'm lazy in relation to housework. And it was really identifying that we actually own all traits. Every trait that we can judge someone about, we actually own that trait as well, but we just express it in a different way depending on what our values are. And the more you're aware of that, the more you can actually appreciate other people, and the more you can actually communicate with them effectively and without judgment and things like that. And that can go a long way to improving your relationships. Service to humanity. So this is your vocational health, or your employment health. So vocation comes from the Latin word vocatio, which means a call or a summons. So in a religious context, that was like a calling from God. But without that religious context, I basically see that as being, we each possess different gifts, talents, and a value system that is orientated towards a specific purpose or way of life. And additionally, in the old French vocation was also referred to a calling, or consecration, meaning to dedicate to a specific purpose or service again. So it's about, making our employment about being of service to people. If you focus on what it is you're actually helping people, and you can, doesn't matter what type of work you're doing, you can focus on this. Even if, for example, my wife works in the bank, while her general role might not be very fulfilling, the way that she is a service to humanity is basically with her communication with people that come into the bank, and making them feel better about when they come in and they've got different stresses, and I don't know, she just has this ability to make people feel good, and she's able to do that within her vocational work, even though it's not a direct part of her work. But outside of that, potentially focusing your employment on, if you're someone who's young and you're just starting out and you want to, you're not sure which kind of work you want to get into, rather than focusing on what the work is, focusing on how you actually want to help people in this life. You'd go a long way to being more fulfilled within your work life if you have that sort of focus. How are you actually serving people? Exchange of appreciation. So this kind of ties in with that. In terms of your financial health, if you're just going out there just to make money for yourself, you're less likely to make a lot of money, because if you think about it, receiving money is really an exchange of appreciation. The more you do for people, the bigger the service that you provide someone, the more money they're going to pay for that, if that makes sense. So the more you're out there to help other people, the more financial health you're going to have. So as Mark says, my income is in direct proportion to my ability to add massive and measurable levels of value to other human beings, which is exactly right. There are other things that play into financial health, such as, like, often if we have low self-esteem, or if there's areas of our life that we're not happy with, potentially we spend money on things that make us momentarily feel good, and so it's like that immediate gratification thing, rather than saving money and investing money in things that will actually grow our financial health, and putting effort into things that might create more financial stability in the long run. So yeah, that's basically the 7 areas of life and the 7 steps that I would go through to create a more fulfilling and healthy life. So the reason why I wanted to create this video and why I wanted to promote the Dream Life program, is the Dream Life Mastery program, is because it's really the only program that I've seen out there that is, well, affordable, but it covers all of these areas. It covers all of the areas of our life, and it integrates them together into one program, so that you can actually, create true happiness and success on all levels. It doesn't just focus on one area of your life. It integrates them all into one plan, one pathway to creating health and happiness and fulfillment in your life. So this is inside the members area of the Dream Life Mastery program. As you can see, it's got all of the modules laid out on the left here. So obviously it's not laid out in the fashion that I've spoken to you about, and specific to the areas of life, but within all of these modules you'll find content that will help with those different areas of life. So for example, we've got this how to achieve exceptional wealth, which is obviously relating to your financial health. There's another 4 different pathways to wealth pathways of millionaire. So there is a huge focus on creating more financial health, and this is really important because you will find that when you have more financial health, when you have more finances, you are able to live your life the way that you want. You have better, you are more capable of doing that. Building a life of true happiness, so going into purpose, meaning, creating a vision, and getting in the driver's seat of your life, and taking control of it. Since success conditioning, so actually being able to follow through with the goals and the aspirations that you have, unlocking the hidden power of your mind, finding, overcoming your limiting beliefs, and really connecting into the fact that you are a genius, and your brain is capable of so much more than what you think it is capable of. Boosting your energy, your health, and your vitality. So a module going through everything relating to your health, and it's covering, very important factors like fortifying your gut health, which the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, says, all disease starts in the gut. So this program covers some of the most fundamental things that are being overlooked currently within our health system. What else have we got? So how to have a great and successful love life. So going into your relationships, and how to get the most out of your relationships and have happy and fulfilling relationships with not just your loved ones, but within society and within our culture. So that's really why I wanted to promote this program, because I believe it's somewhere where you can get everything. You can not just be focusing on one particular area of your life. You can actually build a complete and it's a plan to integrate all areas of your life and really live the most amazing, healthy, fulfilling life that you can, to really be the best version of yourself. That's about everything for this video. I hope you've gotten value from this. If you have, please hit that like button. If you want to get, obviously with the content that I've shared with you today, I hope that you are able to go out there and it's inspired you to make some changes in your life. And if you do need any help with anything, comment below. I'm more than happy to help you out. But obviously this Dream Life program would go a long way to helping you create a better life for yourself. So I've actually in the description below, I've linked to some free resources that you can get by the creator of this program. So go down and check those out. You can also access the program through the link below. So head down and check the description out. That's about everything for this video. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you in my next one.